For those who don't know, you broke Backstreet Boys in English television in Canada. It was
Right.
much music or Music Plus in French, but you guys did it for Canada, for
Yeah.
English
It,
Canada
wa-
on TV.
it, I I had happened to be over in England in the summertime, prior to all of this, and I had heard about that and had heard something was going on. And I heard it was going on in London. I had a friend that was working at Capital Radio in London, and he was like, "Yeah, you got to hear about this band." I'm like, "Yeah, boy band, whatever," because boy bands weren't anything. Last boy bands we had was New Kids on the Block, and I was there for that too, right? To stand on stage at CNE Stadium in front of 100,000 kids and introduce the entire show all day long, and you can actually feel the physical wind from these people screaming was an unreal experience. And then to do it again with Backstreet, do it again with NSYNC, and all these different acts, and yeah, it's just it is really special to know that you were a connective part.
Here they are. I'll never break your heart. Three boys.
I'll never break your heart. I'll never make you cry.
And people still wonder, oh, do like as you mentioned, Backstreet. Out of left field, we got talking, and I sent them a message. Uh, and I texted each of them and I said, guys, you're going from Vancouver to Edmonton. You're not coming to Calgary this time. I know you can only drive for 10 hours. So 10 hours from Vancouver is just past my house. So why don't you come to my house and hang out for a day? We'll go wake surfing. We'll have some barbecue and drink some beer. And then you can get on the road and boot back because you get your buses, go back up to Edmonton on the way because your drivers have to rest. So we ended up. I didn't think it was going to happen, but then it was funny because AJ was doing an interview, and there happened to be this girl from Ontario, or I think it was Ontario, somewhere in Canada, anyway. And oh, he said, how did you find out about Backstreet Boys? And she goes, oh, Tarzan Dan on the hit list. And he goes, oh, Dan just texted me. I have to get back to him. And I was like, oh, so he got my message because I didn't hear from him. Heard from Howie, heard from Kevin, didn't hear from AJ. And so what happened is from what I've been told, Brian and Nick had been under the weather, and so they ripped up to Edmonton to have a day to just relax and rest. And the other three ended up showing up here and hanging out for the day. And we had a great time. And nobody knew they were coming. I told nobody except for my friend who had this sweet nautique boat, and we went wake surfing for the whole day. It was so great. And then did barbecue and then and then they got on the road and took off. And it was funny because all the press here in Calgary got in touch with me and they were like, hey, can you do an interview? No, it's just guys, our friends that are hanging out on their day off. Come on, man. Like, that's it. And it is like that. We're still friends. We still chat. We still keep in touch. Things matter, real things matter. And that's important. With some of the celebrities who have become super celebrities, lost contact, or there's that, hey, how you doing? And it's a real quick thing. But there are people in the industry that literally you pick up where you left off. And I feel really fortunate to have had that in my career. That you can't buy that kind of stuff.